Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome to another episode of F1 Manager 23 Career Mode. It's round 8 of our first season and we are heading to Spain, to Barcelona for the Spanish Grand Prix. So we're coming off the back of a really deflating result at Monaco. Oop. There we go, turn the sound down on my phone. A little bit of echo there. Yeah, it's one of those races, wasn't it? It was looking so good for so long, and then it all just fell apart. As things so often do for us. Just horrible luck at the end there with the collision with Hulkenberg, who's gone into witness protection, so we might not see him here. Yeah, just so frustrating. We were literally 3 laps away from winning our first Grand Prix, and then a really dodgy collision with a Haas that was being lapped and should have known better. Anyway, let's move on. So we have 4 days to go until the next Grand Prix. So let's have a quick look. We've got an upgrade for our memorabilia room about to drop. We've got a spare front wing on the way. Speaking of spare parts, did we go ahead and actually manufacture some stuff? I can't remember. So I know we've got some spare front wings going. There's just one. Let's check the warehouse. So we are working on a new chassis and a new suspension. We don't have a spare suspension, but we're not going to get one in time, I don't think, for the next Grand Prix after this one. Let's have a look. Montreal, it's 18 days away. I think the new suspension should theoretically be ready by then, but just in case, let's go ahead and make a spare. Also, if we can only get 1 or 2 of the new ones ready in time, this at least means that we've got a relatively good part to fall back to. So yeah, we'll make 1 extra spare for that. How you doing, Mr. Water? Good to see you. Right, our drivers are doing okay. Let's have a look. I keep automatically just scrolling through drivers and staff as a force of habit from last year, where you had to manually check for skill points. So we don't have to worry about that anymore. We've got our scouting in progress. Let's advance some time. We have an inbox issue to deal with. More sponsorship obligations. Okay, one of our sponsors has requested a change to their contract. More specifically, they would like to add more memorabilia room event obligations later in the year. As always, the memorabilia room will be out of bounds while hosting a sponsor event, so the team won't get their usual morale boost from the facility. The additional funding could be a large benefit to the team as a whole, though. I appreciate it's unusual to change a contract mid-season, so there should be no problem if you'd like to deny this request. Either way, I've written up in the below attachment, let me know your preference. So it's basically adding 3 events on. It says plus 3 events scheduled, but it doesn't tell us how much extra funding. That's the annoying thing. And I've noticed this before as well, when someone said, oh, we'd like to cancel some of our sponsorship obligations. And, you know, okay, it's going to reduce your funding. How much by? Oh, we're not going to tell you. It's just, yeah, I like these sorts of emails, but you're only telling us half the story. We need more information on these things. So we're going to go ahead and add 3 more in. I don't think it's going to be worth that much money at all, but we'll add them in. But it would be nice in the future, in a patch, that these would actually say what the increase in funding is going to be, or if it was to take events away, what the decrease in funding would be, because I think that's kind of important stuff to know. Right, there we go. That's the spare front wing. So we're back to 2 spare front wings now. Monthly car development. Let's see where we are. Acceleration's not looking good, is it? Cornering's looking pretty good. DRS isn't bad. Dirty air cornering's looking pretty nice. Brake cooling and engine cooling could be better. Okay. Financial reports. Let's have a quick check with our finances. We don't very often take a look at this stuff. Let's have a look. So our projected final balance is looking very healthy. Current breakdown shows that our income against our outgoings is not so good at the moment, but that's based on total spend so far. I say the projection tells a different story. The projection tells that we're going to make about 80 million, or end up $80 million in profit, which is very nice. Let's take our cost cap. So we have so far spent nearly 76 million. 56 million of that has been on car development. So this is quite a good way to have a look and see where our money's going, and almost all of it is going on the car. Staff salaries aren't too bad. Engineering team, scouting team, pit crew, emergency purchases. That figure's looking a bit high already. 7.6 million. Facilities, 9 million. That's quite high as well. And our projected spend by the end of the season, our facilities is going to account for about 18 million. Emergency purchases, hopefully we're not going to do that anymore. Yeah, we shall see. But we've only got about 50 million of the cost cap left, so we've really got to be careful, especially considering we are going to have to take spare engines at some point this season, I think, and that's going to be pricey. Right, following a recent board meeting, I want to make you aware of the board's latest assessment of your performance. Overall, we have medium confidence. Okay, disappointed with Monte Carlo. Yeah, I think we're all disappointed with Monte Carlo. Yeah, we are below target on our season objective. And we are losing ground to Ferrari as well. We are now 60 points off them. That's not great. We need to start turning that around as soon as we can. Driver development update. So once a month we get one of these emails which shows how our drivers are responding to training. Let's have a look. Lewis has actually improved his adaptability, and there you can see George has gone up 2 points in defending. Damn right he's gone up in defending. He's been mighty. Mick has gone up in defending, and his reactions has gone up 2 points as well. That's good to see. A little May in Formula 1 roundup. Red Bull have upgraded their wind tunnel. And a little spotlight on Alfa Romeo, saying that we know we're shit and we don't like it. Alright, let's have a look at our pit crew. So our pit stops are around 2.4. Balanced is going to really push fatigue up by the look of it. Pit stop errors will reduce the chance of a mistake. It will give us a little bit of a boost, like, you know, a hundredth of a second to pit times, but it will also give us a nice big boost to car building as well. It would be nice to work on pit stop time, but again, that's going to really wear our guys out. That's going to put them into weary, and the chance of a mistake is going to go up quite dramatically. So I think we'll go with pit stop errors. They don't have to be amazingly fast. I want them to be quick, but I also want them to be error-free as well. So we'll go with that. Let's see. What else is there to do? I think that's everything. We've got just under 12 mil in the bank. 11.6. Is there anything I want to upgrade? Not here. Staff facilities. I might go ahead and do the race sim actually. It's 8 mil. Let's get that out the way. We desperately want to get that maxed out to really reap the benefits. And there's nothing in here that's jumping out at me saying this needs to be done. Memorabilia room's only going to boost attractiveness on the next upgrade, so there's no point working on that yet. Yeah, I think... I think we'll drop an upgrade on the boardroom as well. Because now that we're losing ground, I think it's going to be a little bit tricky keeping the board happy. So we can just distract them with a shiny new desk executive toy or something, you know. And maybe that'll work. Right, 1 day to the race. Let's advance. How you doing, Farah? Good to see you. And it's time to go to race prep. So let's take a look at race prep. First off, we'll check our car build. So 321.31 miles an hour. We're actually above the grid average, which is nice. The only thing we're down on is acceleration. Everything else looks pretty good. That's our rankings. And oh wow, okay. We have definitely... Let me just check against car 2. See if there's any discrepancy. There shouldn't be. No, there isn't. There we go. We were looking much quicker than that in the cornering. So some teams have brought some upgrades here. That is for sure. Because we were like 4th in cornering and now we're 7th and 11th. So yeah, we're definitely lagging a little bit in some upgrades. We did have that delay, which hasn't helped. We have got a couple of upgrades on the way. Nothing major. I keep doing that. There we go. Oh no, we've got 4 upgrades. We've got a new front wing and a new underfloor on the way as well. I thought it was just the chassis and suspension. So we do have 4 upgrades coming. And we will get a couple of those, maybe, for the next Grand Prix. We'll certainly get, hopefully, the new chassis for the next Grand Prix. Maybe the new suspension. I don't know about the underfloor and the front wing. We'll see. Don't want to really emergency stuff, given how expensive that is. And we spent 8 million on emergencies already. I don't really want to do that again. So let's set our performance targets for this Grand Prix. With all that in mind, qualifying position, 1 driver in Q2 is the incentive. That's going to be easy. Well, it should be easy. Qualifying position, we're going to go 2 in the top. I'm going to go 2 in the top 8. Both cars into Q3. Finish position is the target. I think we've got to try and go for the fastest lap. The new finish position streak, 2 in the top 6 for 5 races. I think that's the first 5 race streak it's given us. And then we just need 1 more on our quali streak to come out with another 2.6 mil. So we've got to make sure we get 2 in the top 8 in this Grand Prix. Let's take a look at the Spain circuit. And obviously this has changed this year. It's gone back to how it used to be when it first launched in the 90s. There you can see no longer do we have that stupid Mickey Mouse chicane. That has been taken out, and the original ending sequence of turn 13 has been restored. However, someone should have told them when they came to doing their sections by speed map, because they forgot to change that. So you can still see that the colouring is still set up for when the chicane was there. So that definitely needs to be tweaked at some point in a patch. I'm assuming that turn 13 will be a high-speed corner. And then it should be purple all the way through from there. So, yeah, we shall see. But, yeah, that needs to be improved, I think. Right. Let's go racing.
Thank you for joining us for the Spanish Grand Prix here in Barcelona. The Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya is familiar to every driver, with F1 and Junior Series often racing and testing here. It's a proving ground for aerodynamics, so many new car parts are brought to Barcelona to see how they can handle the track. Barcelona is a tricky circuit to balance. The technical corners demand high downforce, but that means adding stress to tyres and potentially limiting race strategies if teams go too far. It was Charles Leclerc who tasted victory in the last race, but he will surely be looking to find the recipe for success again and achieve another podium place. So stay with us for all the race weekend thrills.
So this is the first time that we've been to Spain on this game, so we have no setups in this year's notebook. So we're going to revert to last year's notebook again. We'll defer to the setups that we used on the previous iteration of this game, and I think I'm going to put Mick in the car. Let's put Mick in for a session. Let's take Lewis out. Mick's not going to have a name on the timing screen. That is something that needs to be fixed and will be fixed in the next patch, which hasn't gone live yet. Hopefully in the next day or two. And just be warned in advance that we may well get a crash as we get from the end of quali into the start of the race, because that's what it's done for almost every race we've had so far since the last patch. So yeah, just be mindful of that. We're going to take soft tyres for Mick because we want Lewis to be able to run long to get his track knowledge up in sessions 2 and 3, so he wants the mediums and the hards. Run plan for Barcelona last year was 19 laps, so we'll go with that again. Even though it could potentially be a little bit quicker, let's go 20 laps. Just see, because the chicane's there, not there this year. So we'll drop the pace. And let's stick with hard tyres for George. We'll go 19 laps for him. And let's look at setups. So we'll start with I've got a couple of 14s and I've got a couple of 14.5s. Let's start with a 14.0 for George. So we'll go 8.5, 14, 7.3, 3.35, and a 1. And that'll be George's setup. In fact, George, I'll go 20 laps. Mick, I'll go 19, because Mick, I'll probably call in early anyway. There we go. And now let's do setup for this car. We're going to go with a 14.5 on this one. So I've got a couple of these to choose from. Let's go with a 7.5, a 14.5, a 9.1, a 3, and a 0.2. There we go. There's a whole multitude of different styles of setup I've got for this circuit from last year. So it'd be interesting to see what is the one that sticks. We need to swap out the good stuff for the bad stuff. There we go. We've got another knackered gearbox now, thanks to Hulkenberg. So we might end up having to take 2 new gearboxes for Lewis at some point this season. I'd so laugh if Nico's not in this first session, if it's Pietro Fittipaldi instead. That would just be hilarious. He has literally gone into witness relocation. ERS module, we'll swap that over as well. There we go. And the gearbox as well. These swapping parts over menus, they feel a little clunky. It'd be nice to streamline that in some way, I suppose, but it is what it is. Right, drivers are set, cars are prepped in terms of parts, fuel loads. Let's send them to the grid. And you'll notice that it's kept the yellow markings that would be on Lewis's car, but it is actually running Schumacher's number 47.
So radio check. Radio check.
So that's kind of cool to see. I mean, obviously we're getting numbers in the same style of the team, but it's actually kept the flashing though, the distinguishing marks between the two cars. So see, Lewis has the yellow and George has blue. And it's kind of cool to see that those have carried across. I don't know if it's simply because this is normally Lewis's car, and whether if we were to make a full-time swap between the two, whether that would change or not. I guess we'll find that out at some point.
And avoid all curbs. Avoid all curbs.
There we go. Right, so drivers are up and running. Let's do a lap in helmet cam with Mr. No Name himself, Mick Schumacher. So there we go. There is a lap of the new version of the circuit. Let's take a look at the track map. And that's actually probably the nicest one we've seen so far. And it kind of echoes what I was saying, is that they should have used slightly more muted colours, you know, paler shades. And that seems to be the case on this one. And it looks a lot nicer than some of the horrible ones we've seen so far this season. Yeah, that one actually looks quite nice.
Okay, stand by.
I've noticed this as well. Sometimes the camera, especially when you're in like a helmet cam, or not just helmet cam, but a couple of other views as well, mainly that one, you see this real transition from really dark, suddenly the light fading in. When you come out of speed up, it's kind of a weird effect. I don't know if that's a deliberate thing or, yeah, it's a bit odd. There you go again. See, it starts off a little bit dark and then lightens up again.
Much better, much better. Yeah, it's
Alright, so we have some feedback from Mick, and 87 isn't too bad. We are going to go and call ahead Mick in now. We do have a yellow flag out there, apparently. Albon's run wide.
Now we should be able to take a look here. Now here we are at
This
the
is at
final
turn
corner.
13. Oh, yeah.
Nearly.
Into the gravel.
Just running wide. And they might
I
want
can
to take a
see
look at
there
the
being
floor of the car there,
maybe a
because
collision
that
there
won't do it
in
any
the Grand
good.
Prix. Someone goes wide and rejoins in front of another car. Austria is notorious for that. It'd be interesting to see if that happens here as well. Austria in game, obviously, not necessarily so much in real life.
good.
Feedback from George. He
Okay,
is at
copy that.
87 as well. Okay. We'll leave George out. He's running to gain track knowledge. Mick is just running to get driver development done and get the car set, so he doesn't need to run for as long. Do I have something similar I can switch to? We can try an 8.5, an 8.2, a 3.2, and then a 0.7. And that's a little bit too much. Okay, so what this looks like, this is going to be one that might not be in the book. The other one I've got is a 0.5 and a 3.1. And that one, oh, it's not quite, it's a little bit too much. So I'm going to pull that back to an 8. I'm going to push that to a 3.15. We'll go to a 3.2 and we'll just try dropping that to there. Let's try that. See how that works. Don't have enough tyres left for a 19 lap run apparently. But we can do an 18 lap run. Okay, so we'll confirm those changes. And then you can see on the leaderboard, no name for Schumacher. It's not just Mick, I think. I think other reserve drivers have that as well. But Mick is definitely a victim of this. And as I say, that is something that is being fixed in the next patch. It doesn't have one on the map as well. Look, you can see it's just a blank name riding around. And there we go. 20 laps actually worked really well for George there. So that's good to see. I can update the book to 20 laps for Spain. Right, let's have a look at George's feedback. The traction is off. Okay, so that's going to be, I would guess, an 8.2. We could end up running a very similar kind of setup here. That's optimal. Let's try dropping the front wing to 7.5. Let's correct that to there. And let's try that. See how that works. So with driver development, it's a little bit different to last year, but not massively different. Obviously, we know that we don't allocate skill points out anymore. But the way that our young drivers gain experience when they're in testing sessions is essentially the same. It's just labelled slightly different. So whereas before they had to hit 500 points and you would get a tracker that would count down on this just stays at 0. And then when they do enough time on track, then it goes to a 1, 100%. It shows +1 on the practice goals at the bottom right on the header there, and it shows 100% on the top right in the drive development box up there. So that's how that changes. So we'll just stick with Mick like this, and you'll see that will suddenly update when he's there. We go, like that. He's done enough. So Mick could theoretically come in now, and that's him done. But obviously, we're going to keep going with the drive so we can complete the setup feedback. And depending on how fast their rate of improvement, that could theoretically automatically push them up a skill level from 77 to maybe 78. It's possible. They will still, as you've seen, earn passive experience for using the sim, as do all of our drivers. tyres really struggling now.
Balance
And
check
setup
when you-
is in the optimal range. It's 99%. Ooh, so close.
Okay.
So close. So we'll call him in. That's Mick Dunn. And let's see. Well, it has to go that way. So this is the first setup for the book. I'm confident enough to write this in now. .5, no, 8.0. 14.5, 8.2, minus 3.2, and 0.6. And that is a unique setup. That's one we did not have in the book for last season. And there we go. We'll get that little tweak confirmed, and then Lewis can go out and go straight onto a 100% setup on his run in FP2. Just got to wait for feedback for George now. It also looks as though tyre wear on the softs has been increased from last year.
Just say what you'd like on the...
Ooh, 76. Oh, we've gone very wrong on that one.
Good stuff. That was very good. There you go.
We've gone backwards by 11% there. We'll let him finish his run. There we go, another yellow flag out there somewhere. And let's see where we went wrong. Okay, that's still showing good. I'm going to try pushing that to a 9.1. We've gone the wrong way on the front wing, so that to me suggests it's an 8.5 on the front wing. We need to pull that back to about there. Potentially need to pull that back to about there, and then this needs to go... It's a bit too much. Ooh. This one could be tricky. This one could be very tricky. We know it's not a 7.3. Don't think it's going to be a 6.4. I mean, it's not impossible. I've got a 9.14, 6.4, 3.45, and a 1. That was what we had last year. And I'm looking at that, and that's not too far away, actually. That needs to be... We have to go maybe a 9.5. I've never had a 9.5 set up before. This is a very extreme gamble. But I'm looking at that, and it looks on paper like it could be good. So we're going to try that. This is one of those tracks where you can get really, really diverse setups that still are 100%. You know, very different directions. Right. Both cars will easily make it through the next session with the parts that they've got on. We'll go medium tyre. Actually, no, we'll go hard tyres. Oh, George has already used his hard tyres, hasn't he? We'll go medium tyres for George, hard tyres for Lewis. Run plan, we're going to go 28 laps. Although I get the feeling we might be calling him in early, based on how the last set of feed change went. We're going to go 42 laps of fuel with Lewis. He needs to run the whole session to gain his track knowledge. Car should automatically go to 100%. Let's send them both out. So George out first is on faster tyres and with a lot less fuel. There we go. So a little off topic, but the latest City Skylines 2 dev diary dropped today, and it's the one that I am least excited for. You know, I mean, every one of the videos I've seen so far has left me feeling a little bit more excited and pumped for City Skylines 2. This one, you know, I mean, I like that Seasons is going to be part of the game now, but it just, the video just didn't inspire me. Watched the video and I just felt meh at the end of it. You know, it's the first one of their little feedback vids, or you know, insight vids that they've done that just was, you know, a little underwhelming. I'm interested to see what else we're going to see. I think there's still a couple more left before they wrap it up. Oh, look at that. We gambled on a really bizarre looking setup and we almost nailed it. 97%. That's excellent. So we'll let George continue running. We won't call him in on this session, and then that gives us the potential to do 2 short runs on soft tyres to fix that in the next session. But yeah, it just felt a little... Have I pre-ordered? Not yet. I mean, it's digital, so it's not like it's going to run out. I will pre-order probably with a week or 2 to go, I think, you know. Let's have a look at everyone else on the grid, see who's running what. So, relatively new engine for Charles. Sight's still on that engine combo. Piastri's on an old set of components, as is Norris. New engine for Max. Oh, he's going to be so fast here. New engine and new ERS. Perez still on the old engine. Newish engine for Ocon. I think he had a new one at the last Grand Prix. New engine for Gasly this weekend. Let's see. Magnussen. Hulkenberg's car better look like shit here. Oh, look at that. He's having to run a new gearbox. I'm guessing he destroyed his gearbox in the last one, but he's still also running a nearly new engine, nearly new ERS. De Vries, brand new gearbox and ERS. Sonoda, new gearbox.
Surface temps is still cool all round.
Bottas on an old ERS unit. New ERS unit for Zhou. Stroll on an old engine and an old ERS. What about Alonso? Newish components for Alonso. So a bit of a mix. Russell has finished his run. Okay, so the front wing is just a little bit too much. Or not enough. Is there room for me to... I don't know if that'll work. Surely it's not a 10. It might be a 10. There is room for it. Yeah, we'll try running a 10. Wow. Okay, we'll try that in the next session. At least we know that's all that needs to be changed, is just the front wing. So if it's not a 10, it's got to be a 9. Process of elimination. And then we can adjust the rest of the parts accordingly. But yeah, Max is going to be blisteringly quick this weekend. As is Charles. Perez is still going to have some pace for a while, but he will reach a point where not so much. I was actually looking at the engines the other day, and I would say on paper, I think even though it's the least powerful, I think the Mercedes engine's the best engine. Alright, so this bit of music here, listen to this and tell me it doesn't make you think Mass Effect.
We have a checkered flag now.
It just screams Mass Effect, that music, to me. I mean, it's obviously not, but that just, it makes me think of that every time I hear it. Right, 61% track knowledge, that's good. 73 for George, okay, it's not too bad. I was thinking that might be a little bit higher. We are going on to soft tyres for George, medium tyres for Lewis. So Lewis is going to have a long run. He's going to run for 36 laps. That should be more than enough fuel. George, we're going to get to run for 18 laps. Hopefully won't even need 18 because his engineer is extremely good at getting feedback. Again, George goes out first. He's got faster tyres and a lot less fuel. Saves him tripping over Lewis, trying to get through.
Just check everything okay?
Copy that, we'll take a look.
Very Mass Effect-y, isn't it? See what I mean?
Balance check.
99%. So we got the right direction on the front wing. That's that run done. we'll send him out for another quick run to get the last bit of track knowledge and get that up to 100%. Right, so again, that can only really go one way, and that's going to be there. Evening, Sam. Which team do I think has the chance to beat Red Bull? Are you talking about in the game or in real life? In the game, right off the bat, it's Ferrari. Mercedes just doesn't have the pace. In real life, I'd say up until Spa, I would have said Mercedes. Maybe McLaren. Now I'm not so sure. In real life, yeah, I mean, Ferrari have got a good car at times. McLaren have got a good car at times. Mercedes had a car that was improving until the last update, which brought bouncing back in as an issue. So, yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know who's going to be the team to actually pit Red Bull. I do think that at some point someone else will beat them this year. I don't think Red Bull will go the entire season undefeated. At least I hope they don't.
Just say what you'd like on the balance.
Boom. But in reality, I don't know which team it's going to be. I don't know if Aston have got another big upgrade in the works, because their development's really fallen away recently. Teams are going to start switching their focus to next year's car. There's potential cost cap implications and limitations for teams as well. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think it might need a little bit of luck as well. I think we might need to see a retirement or a big shunt that's going to do some damage to one of the cars to see them drop out of contention. I don't think Checo's got any chance of beating Max unless Max has an absolute disaster. So it looks as though Max is probably going to win the rest of the races this year, which would be a hell of an achievement, but it would also, I think, potentially damage the sport. Apparently, a lot of the American audience has already started tuning out. After the big uptick of new viewers from Drive to Survive, quite a large chunk of the American audience is starting to drift away because of the dominance of Red Bull. Right, 10, 14. This is definitely a unique setup. I've never seen this one before. 6, 4, minus 3.25, and a 1. There we go. Right, our drivers are done. We just need to wait out the clock now. Do I think Jet Lawrence is the 450 motocross version of Max Verstappen? I have no idea because I don't watch motocross. I have no idea who Jet Lawrence is. My knowledge of motocross really kind of goes back to Ricky Carmichael and was it James Brown? Who came along towards the end of Carmichael's run. Then you had guys like, I think, Travis Pastrana, who kind of moved across to a different discipline. There are some names that I kind of remember from that era, but I haven't really followed motocross in any form for a very long time. And even then, I kind of only really watched what was on late night once a week in the UK 20 years ago. You got motocross, which is the stuff on the mud in the outside. I think you got supercross, I think, which is the stuff that's indoors in the arenas. But again, on the mud. But, kind of, pre-sculpted, courses that are built inside a sports stadium and then taken apart again not long afterwards. Unless I got that the wrong way around.
With qualifying, as the drivers fight it out for a
maybe
strong
motocross is
position.
inside the stadium, supercross is outside.
Teams often bring upgrades to Barcelona, so the qualifying order could be a little shaken up. Cars need to be well balanced in both high and low speed corners to set a good lap here.
In terms of George Russell and his form, Karun, how's he going to be feeling, do you imagine?
It's clear that their teammate is pulling ahead of them right now, which they're bound to be nervous about. Hopefully they can keep a level head, because they can't really afford to make any mistakes.
Buckle up then, folks. It's almost time for qualifying.
Okay, so time to qualify. Cloudy weather shouldn't affect us too much. Might make the track a little bit cooler. Might mean the tyres might last a little bit longer. Same for the race as well. We are going to swap out the damaged parts that we've been running in practice for the better stuff. So 92% engine, 87% ARS units, and an 83% gearbox. There we go. That is George's car done. We're just going to do one flying lap to get through the first session. I'll try and save the tyres. 91% engine for Lewis, 87% ERS for Lewis as well, and then the gearbox. This one has still got a race or two left in it before we need to swap that one out for the third one, so we'll go to gearbox 6, but we are going to have to be careful. Another shunt and that's probably going to ruin that gearbox entirely. Plan is just to do a single run. And then sit in the garage, but it depends whether we hit traffic or not, so whether or not we can actually do that. We might have to go out again towards the end of the session.
On the brakes. Copy.
This is outlap normal.
Looks like Russell's hit traffic. Lewis has been okay. What's the gap between the two drivers?
Negative. And we will box.
0.6 of a second. That's okay.
Yep.
That should be okay.
Stay tight on that delta. Box, and call the car. And that's it.
yeah, I think a 1.19 off the pace should be enough to get through this session. So, just in case, we'll prep him for another run, but I'm really hoping we don't have to send him out because the soft tyres do look like they wear down quite a bit quicker here. Yeah, you can see, look, normally the tyres last very well, but we've lost 9% of the rubber on one run here. This is the first circuit where the tyres haven't really held up in quali. So who are we going to lose? The Alphas? Are we going to lose both the McLarens as well? Possibly. Albon's out. Wow. Did not expect that. Zhou's out, Norris is out, Bottas and Piastri. So yeah, wow, I did not expect to see Albon drop so soon. Okay. Right, this time we're going to go with 2 laps. Again, we're going to go out at the start of the session and hope that that's enough. But confidence level should be high enough for us to do another run if we need to. And comfortably get through. And I'm hopeful that our 2-lap run strategy that we've been doing for the last race or two works well here. I have been doing it on a Haas playthrough, and it's been working really well with Haas. But I say, this is the first circuit we've gone to where the tyres are really not holding their level of grip quite so well.
Those rear brakes. Okay.
So it might be a different story at this track. They might not have enough rubber for the second lap, the second hot lap, given that they've done one run already. It's time for Russell Vision, Russell Vision. Goo, goo. There you go. Are you happy I've sung now, Farah?
And circuit's all clear. So you're good to go.
Circuit is all clear. And now.
Alright, so looks as though we're going to get clean runs on this lap. We should be able to get through. That better not be Hulkenberg in front of us. It is. Oh, god damn it. You dare. You dare get in the way. Oh my god. I'm going to ride the ham cam for this one. Alright, someone's going faster than us. Probably the Ferrari. Got a Red Bull and the second Ferrari leaving the garage. So that's put Lewis at very high confidence, just shy of full confidence. And not quite so high, but still very high for Russell. Half a second slower. Wow, big difference. So, if we take a quick look at the track map, you can see that there's nobody on a flying lap apart from Hulkenberg and Magnussen, and they're going to be out of the way by the time we get to them, I think. The cars directly in front of us, Perez, Leclerc and Gasly, are either on outlaps or inlaps. Verstappen, where's Verstappen? He's with Sainz. They're both on inlaps. No, Verstappen's on an outlap, so Verstappen's getting held up by the Ferrari of Sainz here. But Perez should be out of... Perez will be on a flying lap at the same time as us, as will Leclerc, as will Gasly. So this one, we will go on board with Russell like this. Just going to click like this so you can see Lewis's confidence hopefully going up to very high as he does his second flying lap.
Track is all clear.
This does kind of partially obscure the track map. But let's see if the second lap is faster. They're going at the second lap with tyres that should hopefully still be good and with higher confidence levels, which should mean more pace. And there we go, purple for Lewis in the first sector. George gets a little bump as well, but it's Lewis's confidence level. He's into peak confidence, so the second half of this lap should be much, much better for Lewis, theoretically. Assuming the tyres last, he'll have enough battery, but this could be a mighty quick lap. Personal best in the middle sector. Lewis goes purple and takes over a tenth.
So it looks like P2 at the moment.
Russell improves by 3/10.
That's a good lap.
And that's both drivers at peak confidence. And that's enough for us to get through. I'm pretty sure of that.
P5.
And if they do have to go out again, which I seriously doubt they will, they'll go out with much better confidence on fresh tyres. But I'm looking at the timings there. I don't think Hulkenberg's going to find 1.2 seconds, which is what he would need. Yeah, he didn't improve enough. And there we go. Gasly can't knock us out, De Vries certainly can't, and nor can Sargent. So we're through to the next session, and we say goodbye to Gasly, Hulkenberg, bye-bye, Nico, Nick De Vries, Logan Sargent, and Yuki Tsunoda. Good qualifying for Logan there, up to 14th. So, fresh tyres. We're going to do 2 flying laps. But before we do that, we're going to do 1 flying lap on these old tyres just to set a starting baseline. And the reason I'm doing this is because it's going to be slow, but it will be a personal best for this run, so we'll get a nice little confidence boost for running on these tyres. And then when we do 2 laps on the next tyres, we will theoretically, because there will be a little bit of a dip between the 2 runs, we will theoretically be starting the second run, a 2-lap run, with higher confidence than we'll be starting the first run with. So that means there's every chance that we could be starting the second lap with peak confidence. So let's get out there and very quickly set our banker lap. These aren't going to be stellar times, but they should be green across the board.
If we can just get that delta negative.
And there you go, Russell already into
we
peak
all
confidence,
box end of this lap.
and so is Lewis. Now we've got a 2-lap run on brand new softs to come
So
when we
just
get back to the
confirming
garage.
and back to the garage.
Understood.
So, brand new softs, 2 flying laps, confirm, and for Lewis, 2-lap run, brand new softs, confirm. Send out George. Send out Lewis. So our driver's a borderline peak right now.
Out, that's
It's
critical.
just dipped ever so slightly for Russell, and it'll be just a little bit higher, I think, for Lewis. No, Lewis has just dipped into very high as well, but the first sector on fresh tyres should immediately put them into peak confidence, and by the time they finish their first lap, both drivers should be pretty much maxed in their confidence levels. And then they'll have another lap to attack the entire track at max peak, which theoretically means they'll go even faster. And the car will be lighter, and the tyres should still be good. Plenty of space between the two drivers as well, so clean air, dirty air, not going to be an issue.
It's all clear ahead. Good to go.
So the circuit should be all clear. Good to go.
No improvement in the first sector for George. Okay, that's a surprise. Or Lewis. Wow, there must have been a little bit more grip in those initial tyres than I thought there would be. There's got to be an improvement somewhere on the lap though, surely. Russell's actually dipping his confidence slightly. And Lewis as well. There we go. Personal best in Sector 2. He's right on the cusp. Need an improvement in the final sector. Lewis does not improve in the middle sector. Come on, George. He's into peak confidence. Okay, so he's going to be almost maxed on his confidence levels there. He's going to get +7 and +6 to his stats for his second lap. Lewis has just hit peak confidence. He's going to get +7s and +6s. Not quite there, but look at that. Braking, cornering, defending 100. No, defending doesn't really matter, but The accuracy only +6. That would have been nice to max that out a little bit. There's George, 99 on accuracy, 94 and 92 on braking and cornering. And this is why confidence plays such a key role in how fast your drivers can go this year. Because you get them into maximum peak confidence, it's +7 across the board. So in the race, they get +7 to all of those stats if they're at max peak confidence. Which makes it much easier for them to attack, much easier to get past. If they are defending, it's much easier for them to defend because that's quite a big jump to get +7 on your baseline stat. And like I said, you can see that puts Lewis in a very strong position stat-wise. So George about to start his second flying lap, and this lap should be quicker.
You got a good gap ahead. Good to go.
And circuit's all clear. You're good to go.
And now Lewis starts his flying lap. No traffic for Lewis. There may potentially be a little bit of traffic for George. I'm not sure. George is up in the first sector. So now he's +7 on all three of the important stats, accuracy, braking and cornering. Lewis is up. And that gives him +7 in all three of the key stats for his out lap, or for his hot lap. Oh yes, these the stats, they do update in real time. So you can see George now maxed out confidence. Oh, he's got +8 on cornering. Wow, I didn't know it went to +8. Lewis +8 on cornering, not that he needs the extra +8, but come on, George. George improves by another 10th.
So currently P4.
Lewis.
Yeah, we're happy with that.
Improves by nearly 0.3 of a second. And there you go. That's the importance of high confidence, especially in quali. I mean, we're not going to be able to sustain that pace in the Grand Prix, but for quali, yeah, that is excellent. It gives us the chance to really kind of jump a couple of cars and then try and maintain track position in the race. We're going to strip quite a lot of fuel out in this Grand Prix as well. So Max on pole by 1/10 of a second from Leclerc. Perez, despite that old engine, only 0.3 off. Then Sainz, then Hamilton, Russell. We lock out the third row. Then Alonso, Ocon, Stroll and Magnussen.
It's race day with the teams and drivers ready and raring to go.
Barcelona is a circuit with plenty of history under its belt. It was here, after all, that multiple world champion Max Verstappen secured his very first F1 victory back in 2016.
What can we expect from that man right there, Charles Leclerc?
They've done really well to get pole position. I mean, what a tremendous chance they've got here today.
Well, Formula One is back in Barcelona, and the teams have got their work cut out for them.
Okay, so we're at the point where the game might crash. We're going to get the setups done, we're going to get everything prepped, and then we're going to make a manual save. And then when we hit R2 to go to the Grand Prix, the game may crash, and that will end the stream. If that happens, which is pretty likely, the stream will start again. It'll be a fresh stream, and we'll hold it for a minute or two before we go to the actual grid to give people a chance to come back. So just fair warning, this is hopefully going to be fixed in the next patch. But yeah, ever since the last one went through, patch 1.03, the game has crashed at almost every single Grand Prix when we get to this page and hit the start race. So, fair warning for you. Let's have a look at strategy. So, we've got the tyres for that, but is medium going to be better? Let's have a look. At the moment, it's still the same estimated race time. That does really kind of put the tyres right at the edge. I think it might be safer to go medium. And depending on how the tyres go in the first stint, we could always switch to a medium soft. So we do have some flexibility that way. It's just the tyres will last a little bit better here. Gives us just a little bit more wiggle room. So we'll book that in as the main strategy. Let's take that one out. Let's take that one out. And then let's convert to a medium soft as the backup strategy. There we go. And we'll do the same with Lewis. In fact, actually, let me have a look. What would a medium soft be? A hard to mediums be like? Would the tyres last? Not really. The other option is a hard soft. That's a 125.51. I think that's going to be too slow. Yeah, it is. Alright, so, yeah. Let's convert this to the medium soft. And again, we'll scrub that. And we'll scrub that. And we'll have a medium soft on standby. We might see safety cars here. We have done in the past at this track in the previous game. I don't know whether we'll see one here. But there we go. We've got two different strategies prepped and ready. In terms of fuel loads, I'm going to take 4 laps of fuel out. It's a lot of fuel to save, but it will make the cars very nippy off the line. We will go with battery deployment and tyre push. And obviously we're going to have to do fuel saving during the Grand Prix. If we get a safety car, that will massively help us there. And there we go. I think we're prepped and ready. So let's create the manual save. Mercedes. Yep, there we go. And as Arnold said in Jurassic Park, hold on to your butts.